critical review. Critical review. Let's look at the concept of critical review and then what critical reviewing is all about. Critical reviewing is sometimes referred to as critical writing and reviewing because that is what you get in some courses. Maybe when you're being taught this course in school, you find it being referred to as critical writing and reviewing. Well, whether it is critical writing or critical reviewing, they are all looking at the same approach to evaluating works of art, works of creativity. So instead of trying to look at the two terms separately, critical writing and critical reviewing, what we'll do here is to look at the concept of critical reviewing. Now, several creative works are released into the society on a daily basis, from movies to books to music to work of art to all forms of creative works, works of literature, even in academics, journalism. You find works being released into the society and then people see them. They are excited. You know, whether it is Game of Thrones, whether it is Prison Break, whether it is Chief Daddy, whether it is movie from any of the industries, Bollywood, Hollywood, Nollywood, whether it is the best-selling novels, maybe Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Diaries, you know, those wonderful novels. People read them and they are excited. People watch movies, they are excited. They read articles in newspapers and they say, yes, this man is a good writer. This man is a good journalist. Now, these are the casual eyes of the audience. Casual eyes are the eyes of the audience. Those who are targeted with such works, they watch such works, they enjoy such works, you know, they are the less technical eyes. That's what we refer to as the casual eyes here. The works are good. But then you now have the critical eye. Now the critical eye looks beyond the surface of the work, looks beyond the plot of the movie to see what the author of that book had in mind, or the producer of a movie, or what contribution that work made to the society. Not just contribution, but the beauty of the work is beyond the surface. So what the critical eye does is to look at such work, evaluate such work, and then understand beyond what the casual eye sees. And that is where critical reviewing comes in. Critical reviewing is the use of the critical eye to appreciate works of art. The casual eye has seen them and probably condemned them, but the critical eye could say, no, there is something actually behind this work. There is value in this work, but probably the casual eye did not understand. So the critical eye forms a bridge between the casual eye and the owner of a creative work. So the critical reviewer presents to the society the message behind a work, the beauty behind a work, the lack of creativity behind a work. The fact is that the critical reviewer is the bridge between creative works and audience members in the society. The question then is, what is critical reviewing? So the critical review is sometimes referred to as a critique, a critical commentary, critical appraisal, or critical analysis. The fact is that the review is doing a task, and that task is to judge a work. Now, the judgment here is not from the negative stance just to condemn the work, but to bring out the value in a work, or the value that it lacks, and let the public know what this work is all about. You must note that critical review writing is not all about negative criticism of a work. A critical review is a writing task that consists of appreciating a piece of work in details, summarizing and evaluating it with a view to determining, based on facts, whether it is a good or poor piece of work. So you see, you are leaving the plane of the casual to move into the plane of the critical. You need to understand this. You are leaving the plane of the casual to move into the plane of the critical. What are you doing when you are involved in critical writing and reviewing? You are appraising a work. You are evaluating a work. You are being objective in criticism. You are looking at the two sides of the coin. There is hardly a work that is so bad that there is nothing good about it, no matter how little. And there is none that is so good that there is nothing bad about it. That is, that there is no flaw at all about the work. So even the Game of Thrones that, has been appreciated as one of the best TV series that the world has ever seen, there are still flaws. In fact, the last episode of the last season till today is still being referred to as one of the worst episodes of the entire series. So there is no work that is so good that it will not have a flaw, and there is none that is so bad that you cannot see one or two things to take away from it. And this is what, critical writing and reviewing is all about. So we said that in critical writing and reviewing, you are appreciating a work. Appreciating the work here refers to, if it's a book, reading the book, looking at the two sides of the coin when it has to do with the book, the good aspects, the flaws, and then making suggestions, because critical reviewing is all about suggesting how to improve a work. So whenever you come across the concept critical reviewing, try to remember any of these terms: appraisal, evaluating, objective criticism, appreciation, judging, and then both sides of the coin. That is what you are doing. You are judging a work. They say that this work is the best in the society. They say that this work is the best in a particular genre. You said, okay, you look at it. Beyond the excitement of the audience, what is it that is wrong about this job? Or even, what is it that those people that are excited about the work didn't even see, that you point out to them to tell them that this job is so good? That is what you do in critical writing and reviewing. So you see, a critical review adopts an investigative approach in examining the issues raised in a work. So if the work raises an issue, you are also examining it. If it's a work on child trafficking or a work on female genital mutilation, now when you are reviewing that work, you try to see whether the producers, the directors, even the actors were able to push across their message effectively, or whether the message they pushed across is not even what it's supposed to be, or it is not even the true picture of things. The critical reviewer explains that to the society. So we're trying to provide a background of what critical reviewing means, so that when you move into this particular area or you are doing a course on this, at least you will have an idea of what you are going to do. So it adopts an investigative approach in examining issues raised in a work, rather than attempting to progressively discredit each point made by the author or in any piece of art. You are not picking out different aspects of a song or a novel or even a journalistic work just to condemn them. Maybe issues raised in a work, you are picking the one after the other to condemn them. That is not what you do in critical reviewing. You are trying to be objective. Even if you pick an issue, an aspect of the issue, you could support the view of the author. Why is this writing task referred to as critical? Now, it is critical because it is a thoughtful consideration of the validity and accuracy of the author's claims, and it considers the benefits and limitations of the author's points of view, and identifies other valid points of view or suggests ways to improve on those points. So that is why it is critical. That's why they say critical reviewing, because you are being critical about a work. You are looking at the presentations in that work, looking at the points raised in that work, and then picking them one after the other, supporting some, disputing some, presenting a better approach, or what you think is a better approach or suggestion on how to improve on that work. That is why it is critical, because it is not just a review where you just summarize a work and then leave, or just make a surface analysis of a work. No, it is the critical aspect. Means this is an in-depth task, an in-depth kind of writing that brings out what is beyond the surface of a work. So when you talk about critical reviewing, there are basic functions. The basic functions can help you understand what the critical review is all about. Now, critical reviewing describes a work to readers. Basically, what the critical reviewer does is to describe a work of art to readers, interprets the work to readers. You are interpreting a work. What they see, they have read a book, they've watched a movie, now you interpret what is behind the movie. It could be that there's a hidden message behind a particular track that the audience members did not see or understand. The critical reviewer exposes such by interpreting what is behind this work. That is why you find in some countries there are songs that are banned, because once the reviewers see the message behind the work they'll find out that it's against society, against the laws of the country, and then they are banned. The critical reviewer provides evaluation that facilitates judgment of the quality of a work. The critical reviewer provides an evaluation that is used to judge the quality of a work. Critical reviewing provides a platform for the public to objectively appreciate a work. That is a major task. The critical reviewer provides a platform for the public to objectively appreciate a work. Several roles that the critical reviewer plays, and that is why this is a very crucial work in any society. Critical reviewing is an informative task, so the critical reviewer plays informative role for readers. It is also a kind of consumer guide, because based on the reviews by critical reviewers, people could decide to buy a book, could decide to see a movie, could decide to, go for a particular product. Another major task is that the critical reviewer plays the watchdog role for creative works in the society. That is to say, you point out what they are doing wrong and then you correct them. Critical reviewing also serves as a feedback to creative people, the authors of works, artists, other creative people, because you tell them something about their work, tell them how to improve on their work in subsequent editions or their subsequent productions. That is a kind of feedback. And then the critical reviewer is a bridge between creative people and works on one hand and the society on the other hand. You are a bridge. What you are doing is to bridge the gap between the audience members and works of art. That is, you are either letting them know what is involved in this work, why they should go for this work, or why they should be careful with a particular work. By playing all these roles, you find that the critical reviewer is encouraging creativity. Critical review writing encourages creativity. You bring out the good aspects of the work, the flaws in the work, and then you make suggestions. You are telling people to be more creative.